to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Alrighty, to work we go. So we did our executive session, and we have department heads request approval of IGA 44300000054 with Oregon Health Authority. Authorize Mike Rowley to sign for Coos Health and Wellness. I am going to do things slightly different. When I was on the council with Coos Bay, we allowed for, I believe it was 2 minutes of testimony on each item if folks chose. I would ask that it be pertinent to the item. Public comment is still at the end and not necessarily a referendum on what's happening in the world. The world's an interesting place, but item by item.
Mr. Chair, may I clarify, please?
Yes.
So are you saying that the public will have an opportunity to engage in the discussion on agenda items as we move through them?
Yes.
And are you saying that that discussion will take place before the vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Bobby, if you can keep me posted if somebody wants to comment online, appreciate it. Mike, you got her.
Good morning. So this morning we have two of our major contracts that we will be requesting approval for. This first one is the state IGA. As you know, the CFAA. We've had some back and forth with the state, and finally we come to an agreement. This is a contract for 18 months for $6.2 million for our behavioral health division.
Okay. And Colton, any additions? No. Looks good. All righty.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
move to approve intergovernmental agreement 44300-000 54284-0 with Oregon Health Authority and authorize Department Head Mike Rowley to DocuSign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? I might take the first shot at this. So yeah, as mentioned, this was a long negotiation with the state. Not the largest amount Coos County receives. Coos Health and Wellness, appreciate Mike. Will come up to the advanced health, I think, next. This one turned into one that I've talked about a couple times here, so I'll be short. All 36 counties refused to sign the original agreement proposed in June or July. I believe it was July. The state's interest was, that the counties take the overflow from the state hospital, that we commit to the contract for 6 years instead of the standard 2. That they not guarantee enough funding to do the job, and that they not indemnify us against, the Mink Bowman lawsuit that's currently costing the state $500 per day per person pending assessment to stand trial, which is a violation of their constitutional rights and has been ongoing for over 20 years now. So, unfortunately, the state chose to waste 36 counties' time and their time for 7 months negotiating around a thing that was strongly deviant from the past. And it's good that we've gotten to this point. State had to back off its ultimatums. It was 3 times before they said we'd agree. It was 4 times now. And yeah, that brings us here to something that's finally acceptable and not that different from the last contract, it sounds like. So, any others?
No, sir.
I might mention that the amount is $6,200,000 and change for those in the audience that don't have this.
Cool. Do we have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I forgot public comments.
Oh,
I don't think there was
No one
any.
online, no one here. Okay, we had 2 ayes.
Try to
all-
help you remember that, Mr.
Thank you.
Chair.
Aye. And motion passes. We'll move to the next one. Request approval amendment 8 to network provider agreement with Southwest Oregon IPA and authorize Mike Rowley to sign. To clarify, that is Advanced Health. Who's
Yes,
Health and
so
Wellness?
this is our biggest contract that we have for Medicaid services from our CCO Advanced Health. This one actually was a lengthy negotiation as well. The total contract last year was about $10 million, and this year it will be over $1 million cut. And that's what we're looking at this point.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve Amendment 8 to the network provider agreement with Southwest Oregon IPA Incorporated and authorize Department Head Mike Rowley to sign.
Second?
Motion and motion and a second. Discussion. I'll just start off because I spy on this stuff. Wanted to thank you again for your work on this one. This is the bigger dollar amount, and you got the number down substantially on what that original cut was going to be.
Yeah, this was a team effort, including Colton.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and just to note for the public as well, when we look at this cut, there are multiple agencies within the county, not within the county's office, but the county as a whole involved in the health of the community, all with budgetary constraints. So we keep the cuts to where we can remain functional, but we recognize those cuts are also necessary to ensure the total health of the community.
Yeah, I would follow up on that and also congratulate you, Mike, and everybody else who worked on whittling down that cut from the devastating number that it was initially. And I appreciate your communication on what happened and how that process went. It was very well spelled out for us, and so we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Joe?
Nope.
Cool. All in favor, say aye.
Is there any
Public comment? Thank you. I got to get used to it again. It's been a year. Nothing? Nothing? All righty, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And we're on to the next one. Request approval to pay invoice to Indeed, Coos Health and Wellness. You're almost off the hook.
So this one is over my current spending limit is $14,722.09, and this is for advertising through Indeed. We had about 14, 15 positions. I think we still have 10 open positions, so that's where we are as far as advertising.
Mr. Chair, move to approve spending authority of $14,722.09 to pay December 2025 Indeed AP voucher.
Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
What is Indeed?
It is online advertising. That's where we do all of our advertising, and the majority is now through Indeed.
Okay, thank you.
For jobs.
Yeah, for jobs, sorry. Recruitment.
Stray thought related to this. Something I found helpful at past agencies is moving the mission statement to being the very first thing on the job listing. Is that something we do?
I don't know if we do that or not. No.
Okay.
We could do that.
Yeah, is studies a couple years ago found newer generations are kind of looking at the mission before they look at the rest of the listing. So it was helpful. Do we have any discussion on the commission? Discussion
sir.
from the public? Anything? You're the only public.
If I could ask.
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Name-
Is there an
name-
opportunity?
Oh, I'm sorry. Name and where you're from.
Oh, Brandy Martindale from here in Coquille. Is there an opportunity to save money by partnering with a staffing firm? Or is that ultimately more expensive than paying this out to Indeed? Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
typically
that's
it's
all
more
I was
expensive.
curious.
We have, David Keels, we have tried multiple things over the years. And so we are constantly, we're certainly open to suggestions and feedback. But it's a really tough hiring environment. It just really is, no matter what we do. And so we thought we were making progress and we were getting close, and then it would just slid back again. So, but appreciate the thoughts, certainly.
Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. You're free, except David, he never gets to leave.
There's enough
Request-
sheriffs here to take care of me, I think.
Request to declare equipment as surplus, authorize auction. Parks, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Craig.
The Parks Department has equipment that need to dispose of and would like to put it on the public auction site. The biggest one is the 2006 Ford Expedition with the worn 12,000-pound winch.
Cool.
Mr. Chair, move to approve disposal of listed equipment.
Second?
Motion in a second, discussion. And discussion amongst the public.
Nothing
Yep.
online.
And, yep, we got that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. You've got a much lighter load than Coos Health.
Thank you.
Request approval of IGA with Oregon Secretary of State's office to accept the enhanced remake kit and authorize chair to sign. Good morning.
Good morning. So we already worked through enhanced voting. They went through the Secretary of State's office. They're the ones that deal with our overseas military voting. And so the way it is now, they provide a secure platform for them to vote online. Like say you're in a Navy vessel, you can still vote. But when we receive it, we have to duplicate the ballot by hand. We do that with two people of different parties. It's done during opening boards, so it's done with all the other ballots at the same time. But what happens is you have to put it on the paper that will go through the adjudicator is pretty much what has to happen. So one person sits on one side of the table and reads to the other person. They mark, and someone watches, and it's videoed as well. And then also there's observers. So now the remakes kit is what will happen is instead of having to do that, it will print it onto that balloted paper. So we don't have to go through that process. We don't have a whole lot of those, but for bigger counties, it is a big deal because that saves a lot of manpower. For us, the way we see it being used to save us manpower is currently we make a template that we run through the adjudicator before the election starts. And again, this is something that you can come observe as well. And what it does is it just makes sure that that it's reading correctly. It's like a quick audit of your machines to make sure that they are reading correctly. And currently, we make those ourselves. So we have to sit down and make every possible type, and it takes a very long time. And then we run it through the machine and make sure that the machine is in fact marking correctly. That happens at the beginning of an election. And again, it happens at the end of an election to make sure that nothing happened in the middle. And so this machine will also create those test decks, is what we call them, for us, which will save us during big elections a couple days, actually. That's how long it takes because there's so many, especially during special district elections, because there's so many styles and like primary, so many styles. And we have to, when we make them, we have to do one of each style and each option for voting. So normally we run through 6 different styles. So it takes a really long time to make one. So for our county, that's where we're gonna see the benefit, is because it's gonna save us a lot of that manpower. Now they're giving us the equipment and they're giving us like 5 years of like customer service with it. And then we can choose to extend that afterwards if we want to or not to. It's up to us. All the counties, this was a federal grant that the state applied for, and then the state is, we're doing an IGA with them, and all of the counties have the option to sign on.
And it looks like this is through Department of Defense noted in here.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the contract with SOS and enhanced voting to accept the enhanced remake kit and authorize the chair to sign.
Second?
Motion and a second, discussion?
Julie, I'm wondering, I have several questions. First of all, is this a computer that is specifically programmed, or what kind of a machine is it exactly?
It's a computer and a printer. It's not specifically it has, it allows us to just print off the new, or not new, but it allows us to print off their options because they're doing it in digital form. It allows us to print it onto the kind of paper that then can be, we can program it, like I was saying, to do a test deck for us. And so that's the programmable piece, is that we can program it to create one of those. But we would still, we would have to put our template in order for it to happen that way.
So when
It's not connected to the adjudication system computers or in that room at all, so it's separate. Like we would take what it produced there on hard paper and then run it through.
So the service member is frequently voting actually electronically, and then that electronic record is being transmitted. Your previous model had you taking that electronic information and
Printing it out.
printing out that ballot style. So the ballot style is identified for that voter based on the voter.
Based on where their residency is. So if you're in the military, your residency is still wherever you consider to be your home
Sure, I get-
residence.
yeah, I
And
get
you do
that.
have to fill out paperwork to let us know what you consider your home residence. Yes.
Okay, so,
And typically, they only get to vote in like the presidential elections. Sometimes it may be.
When I was stationed in San Diego, I remember it only being the big ones.
Yeah, so like if you if you're still an a U.S. citizen, but you don't claim because you've been overseas for a long period then they'll just let you vote for like the federal elections. But that all
Okay.
depends on your residency, and that's determined pre-election.
okay.
Yeah.
In your estimation, does this methodology shift introduce any potential abuse vectors?
No, I would say actually that it probably makes it more streamlined because now instead of having to do that duplication process, it's just printing it on the original ballot that we can push through the adjudication system, or not adjudication system, through the tabulation system, I'm sorry. And so we've already been using enhanced voting. Enhanced voting is still the company that they are working with for this, but we've already been using enhanced voting. This will just allow us to, instead of printing it on our printers that don't have the ability to take that format, just printing it on a printer that allows that format.
Okay. So when you get that electronic voting information from the Secretary of State, is that where it comes from for these service members?
It comes directly to us, yeah.
From the DOD?
Well, it's a whole process, and I would have to I'd have to email you on how it's specifically done because Lark's normally the one that takes care of that. But we do email and reach out to them so that we can give them instructions, and then it comes back to us, and we're the ones that take the vote, not the Secretary of State's office, because they're considered within our county.
All right.
Yeah.
So, forgive me, but I'm still a little unclear on exactly how you identify which ballot style is going to be associated with that particular voter.
So it's based on where their residency is. So
So-
they determine residency pre-election. So just like any of us do, when we register to vote, we have
Sure.
to determine residency.
Sure.
So same with them. They have to, they fill out, they're given a form.
Yeah.
They have to answer questions like, do you consider yourself a US citizen?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And based on that, then their residency is determined, and then
Mm-hmm.
that ballot style, so they may, like Drew was saying, they may just receive a ballot that only has the federal contests on
Right.
it. But that is determined based on where they consider themselves to be permanent
So that
residents.
residency information is contained within the individual ballot files that you receive.
Yeah, it's contained within their voting record within our OCVR system as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I don't have any more questions, Mr. Chair.
I'm fine.
Cool.
And like always, you are always welcome to come and observe that process. So sometimes observing it really does help clarify.
I caught myself. Public? Public? No
Nothing
public?
online.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. And we have request approval of revised job description for tax accounting specialist 3 and approved posting filing position. And Megan.
So now we get to call her Madam Treasurer?
Oh, Madam Treasurer.
Is that what this is? Oh.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So, as most of you know, I lost a Katie.
Oh,
My collection is dwindling. And she was a senior accountant, and I'm looking to restructure slightly by taking one of my senior accountant positions and putting it down to a tax accounting specialist 3 to allow for more help with property taxes, since I lost a position and it's very difficult to collect property taxes with just one person. So the tax accounting specialist 3 will do property tax, fixed assets, and they will help with accounts payable. They won't complete the process, but they will help with it.
Mr. Chair, move to approve revised job description for tax accounting specialist 3 under pay grade 421 and approve posting and filling the position.
Second.
motion and a second. Discussion?
In reading through the description, I don't see in here where you have a preclusion that the applicant be named Katie.
I know. There's laws against that.
All
We
right.
appreciate you making do with non-Katies when you must. Comments from the public? And nada. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you. Madam Treasurer?
I've taught him well.
Request approval to award Distinguished Service Award to Detectives David Ritz and Bradley Davis. How goes the morning?
Good morning.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Sheriff.
Thank you for
Morning,
allowing us
Captain.
this forum for this.
Oh, yeah.
Do anything, and they didn't know what's going on, by the way.
Excellent.
I'm over here for budget stuff. These two gentlemen here, I will say, are not only some of the hardest working people I've ever known, some of the highest integrity, and have an incredible benefit to the community, and we don't get to recognize them enough. Here you go, son. So without further ado, I'm just going to read the citation, if that's all right, and this one's for Detective Ritz. For outstanding and meritorious performance in the Rygarden investigation specifically, for the relentless advocacy on behalf of children, and as a side note, he probably does about half of the child cases in the entire county, literally. He works in his office all the time, which I'm not supposed to know about. And for the determined pursuit of those who seek to harm them. Detective David Ritz is hereby awarded the Distinguished Service Medal. His service reflects the highest tradition of the law enforcement profession and exemplifies the pursuit of justice for those who cannot help themselves. His performance brings great joy upon himself, the Coos County Sheriff's Office, Coos County, and the state of Oregon. Detective Ritz is commended for his exemplary service and dedication to duty and is formally recognized with the Distinguished Service Medal effective as of the date of this memorandum, which was the 15th. Detective Ritz will be provided with the appropriate ribbon for his dress uniform, which may be worn with authorized attire.
Your hair.
And next but not least, Detective Bradley Davis is a valued member of our scent team and a detective with our office. This past year has seen a lot of work by Bradley. And as a result, we're actually these are just a couple of the cases that we're awarding him for today, but it doesn't include his volume of work. For outstanding and meritorious performance in the Medeiros and Weber investigations, for the tireless pursuit of the worst elements of society, and for the removal of the poison that infects our streets, Detective Bradley Davis is awarded the Distinguished Service Medal. Detective Davis's performance in these cases is consistent with the highest traditions of the law enforcement profession. His actions bring great credit upon himself, the Coos County Sheriff's Office, and the state of Oregon. Detective Davis is hereby commended for his exemplary service and unwavering dedication to duty, and is formally recognized with the Distinguished Service Medal effective as of the date of this memorandum. Detective Davis will be provided with the appropriate ribbon to wear for his dress uniform in accordance with authorized uniform regulations. Signed by Gabe Fabrizio, Sheriff.
For Davis, just those 2 investigations, I forgot to provide Captain Sanborn, but it was approximately 600,000 lethal doses of crap that he got off the streets. So, huge, huge, huge value.
Brad doesn't look as shaggy as I expect a scent.
He's young, he can only grow it out so far.
That's fair.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution of commendation for Detectives David Ritz and Bradley Davis upon receipt of the Sheriff's Office Distinguished Service Medal.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
Thank you both for your tireless service. The people of Coos County appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Public? No public. All righty. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I expect to see you shaggier next time.
If you need lessons in that, just let me know.
Next, we're skipping item H. That's been deferred. So we have request approval of IGA 7108, the user agreement with Department of Corrections, and authorize Mike Prim to sign Community Corrections.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Director.
Here to request the board to approve that I sign an agreement with the Department of Corrections 7108 so that we can access their new phone system. This allows parole probation officers to review phone calls, see who they're going to, who they're talking to, what the content of those calls are, and DOC requires that we have this agreement so that we can do that. They've done presentations for it. It's an advanced system. It ties people to who they're calling exactly, and it's quite impressive. And this will be an investigative tool for us to determine who people are talking to, what they're doing, and what they plan on doing when they get released from custody. So,
I move we approve Director Krim's signing of IGA number 7108 and the accompanying user agreements between the state of Oregon by and through its Department of Corrections and Coos County Community Corrections.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Just to say I appreciate what you do, Mike. I know continued cuts from the state haven't made everything easy, and you took on a burden when youth transferred to you. So,
all right. Well, thank you. Appreciate the board.
Thank you.
we have what we need. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
was leaving
forgot.
before I was done.
Uh-oh. I forgot public comment, but I don't imagine there was much. All
And
right.
again, there's no cost to the county.
Cool.
All right.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you, Mike.
We have a request of pay grade change out of Human Resources. Good morning.
Hi, Caroline.
Good morning.
Hello, Caroline.
All right. So most of you probably know I have been doing a pay equity analysis study. And I will be getting that to the Board of Commissioners hopefully in February. But in the meantime, I am requesting that we do a revision to pay grade 822. Part of my comp and study analysis is trying to get all merit step increases as close to 4% between the merit steps as possible. And so that's what I'm trying to do here with pay grade 822. So request the Board of Commissioners approve revision to pay grade 822 to align the merit steps at 4% each. This pay grade is currently unused, and I would like to make that effective February 1, 2026.
Mr. Chair, move to approve revision to non-union pay grade 822, effective February 1st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
You,
An example of who might ultimately be in this pay grade,
Yeah.
since it's not used.
I'm currently working with a department head to maybe pop somebody in this pay grade under a
Okay.
new job description, but that will be coming soon and approved by the,
okay.
I have to be approved by the board,
All right.
which is why I'm piecemealing just this one.
Good. Appreciate you doing this.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chair.
All right. The public? Anything?
Nothing
Nothing?
online.
It's a terribly exciting matter. I've done pay grade analysis before, and it is tedious, and I appreciate you doing it.
Thank you, it's taken months.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We're on next to request approval of letter of support for Northwest Natural's application to Oregon PUC related to the Coos County pipeline.
I'll admit, I drafted this agenda item cover sheet for Commissioner Sweet and left in the department as counsel. It should say BOC. But Commissioner Sweet, you've been the one who's been coordinating the transfer of this pipeline to Northwest Natural, and so figured you might be the one to describe this letter.
Certainly shall. As I think almost all of you would know, that years back, I don't remember when, it was well before I came here, the county, with the vote of its citizens, approved to put in a gas pipeline from the Roseburg area to the coast. That was the county's part. Northwest Natural Gas came in and did the distribution lines. They also managed the gas pipeline for us, but in all instances that I remember, at least, the cost of what we earned off the gas pipeline equaled what it cost us to have it. We had significant reserves, and we added to those reserves, pipeline reserves. We added to those, I think, during the time that Jordan Cove was paying us to have the gas pipeline in anticipation they would need it to start up their facility. Other than that, we've not made any money. It's worked out. It's been a blessing. Major employer, I think some 1,900 residences are supplied with natural gas. Major employers like Roseburg Forest Products, Bay Area Hospital, GMA Garnett, Southport Lumber Company, the Creamery in Myrtle Point, list goes on, have used the natural gas. So it's done for the county what we wanted it to do. It's completely paid off, but unfortunately, it traverses some rugged terrain between Roseburg and the coast, and follows the Coquille River partway between here and Myrtle Point. The terrain is shifting quite often, and wanting to take the pipeline with it. And to avoid that, we've had to employ contractors to come in and do major remedial actions. The Coquille River, just upriver from Coquille, decided to wash out the old railroad right away under which the pipeline was put. And so that's cost a lot of money to keep it from going into the river. Right now, we have $2 million in the pipeline fund and somewhere between 10 and $12 million of repairs that need to be made in order to make sure the pipeline continues to function. This moment has been coming for quite some time, so it's not catching us by surprise. It's not one that we've publicized a lot. Northwest Natural has stepped up and has expressed an interest in acquiring the gas pipeline. They have a lot of advantages that we don't have. They are charging fees for the use of the gas that the pipeline brings to the coast. The pipeline, instead of being a standalone facility as it is with us, would be part of a much larger pipe system that Northwest Natural Gas has. And they have the money to make the necessary repairs and the desire to do so. Anything to do with natural gas has to be approved by the Oregon PUC, Public Utilities Commission. And so we are gathering support in hopes that the PUC will approve Northwest's desire or application to purchase the gas pipeline. To be completely honest, we are selling it for $1, and we are giving to Northwest Natural Gas the $2 million that we would otherwise be using to repair as much as we could of the pipeline. We did that in hopes that it would encourage the PUC to approve the transaction. And so far, it appears that that will be working. I view this as perhaps one of the biggest single things that's happened on the 13 or 14 years that I've been a county commissioner. Without a continuation of the pipeline, we'd lose a lot of jobs. We'd have a lot of cold homes, people switching back to electricity, and more, which would be more costly. So that's what we're talking about, and I move that we approve and sign the proposed letter of support. Thank you.
I heartily second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Commissioner Sweet, I want to thank you for the work that you've done. Counselor, thank you for the work that you've done on this topic. This is really important to the benefit of the people of Coos County that we offload this pipeline. It's a great asset to the local economy and to the businesses and certainly the residences that utilize it. There are a lot of jobs that are created by its existence, but the county is not in the gas pipeline business, and we are, but we shouldn't be. And this is a liability that we're very grateful to see the prospect of getting off of our backs. And so thank you again for that work. And we'll sign this letter with great hopes that this advances to the next step and Northwest Natural is able to take over that pipeline.
I'll note, I know I've had limited outreach of folks that were concerned about us divesting from the pipeline. One city councilor in one of our cities in particular was wondering why we don't just increase rates to be able to make this functional. I think that would be a catastrophic cost to our businesses and our citizens, which seems like a pretty clear reason, and it sounds like the PUC wouldn't even let us if we wanted.
No.
So transferring it to a group that has a larger pool of amortization of the cost is the prudent maneuver. So, call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion.
You want
Oh,
comments?
Public comment?
Too late.
Well, never mind.
You can still have them.
I attempted. Brandy, did I miss anything? I'm good. Excellent. Thank you. And last one, discussion regarding uniformity to board or committee selection process.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it was brought to our attention in our last BOC meeting that there was the budget committee assignments were on the consent agenda, and we approved those. Unfortunately, due to a technical glitch, those public comments did not come forth until after the vote was executed. So subsequent to that, I committed to really review our process and make sure that all of our appointments for boards and committees were consistent. This was germane and fresh because we had only just in the week prior conducted interviews for the Fair Board. Now, certainly the county budget committee is no less important than the Fair Board in terms of the gravity of those assignments. And so it's my view that if we take the time and invest the effort to conduct personal interviews for members of the Fair Board, we really should do that for the budget committee. And then, of course, there are other committees and boards that we appoint as well. One of the problems that we encounter is that there are, well, first of all, can we just, we should probably have a motion to discuss, and then I'll continue with additional points. So I will go ahead and move that we discuss and agree on a uniform policy for board and committee appointments and codify that into resolution or county code as deemed appropriate.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Continue.
Thank you. So, in the appointment of these boards and committees, one of the things that we find, one of the dynamics that we're up against is a dearth of volunteers stepping forward to serve on these boards. It does take time, it takes effort, and people seem to be less inclined to be publicly involved or involved in our public processes than they have been in years past. Nonetheless, I still believe that if we have board appointments, committee appointments for which there are more than one applicant, or even if it is one new applicant, that an interview needs to be conducted so that we can be assured that we are appointing board and committee members that are consistent with the values that we've been elected to promote in this county. The exception to that, I would see in my own thinking, and open for discussion, of course, is that in the instance where we have a renewal appointment and there's nobody else stepping up to challenge for that position, that probably an interview wouldn't need to be conducted in that scenario.
Yeah.
But I do think that that we have a lot of things that a lot of boards that we really should be conducting these interviews for. And Bobby, who is our number one most valuable asset on the Board of Commissioners.
Agreed.
No offense, present company.
Sorry, Colton.
Bobby provided us with a list of all of the board and committee appointments that we are responsible to assign. And those include the 4-H Extension Service District Budget Officer, Library Service District Budget Officer, the Budget Committee, the Coos Bay Estuary Management Plan Committee, the CCD, the Fair Board, Coos Curry Housing Authority Board, Library Board, Local Alcohol and Drug Planning Committee, Local Public Safety Coordinating Council, Noxious Weed Advisory Board, Planning Commission, Property Value Appeals Board, Urban Renewal Agency, VCB, 5 separate road districts, the EMS Advisory Committee, the Forest Advisory Committee, the Forest Recreation Trails Committee, the Parks Advisory Committee, the Road Advisory Committee, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and the Vector Control Committee. A lot of these have no appointments that have been made in a number of years.
More than a decade for a few.
Yeah, exactly. So engaging interviews on all of these represents a considerable time investment.
Yeah.
Currently, we don't do that, but particularly for certain ones of these, I think a priority should be placed on establishing a framework by which greater discernment can be exercised and the confidence of the people who elected us to these positions can be bolstered that these processes are being engaged in their interests.
Okay. John?
No comment.
Okay. All this process existed preceding you, or? I wonder if there's any history on this matter.
Well, Bobby's the one that would know the history better.
Yeah.
It's kind of formed through years of on-the-job experience. And so, one thing we have changed that I've been involved with was, but I don't know that it was for all committees, it was just the one we were talking about at the time, was that upon the end of anyone's term on a committee, they needed to reapply. They didn't automatically roll over and continue in that job.
That's good.
So that's one thing that would come to mind that we should look at. But would the next step be then to direct perhaps county council to look into this and come back with a proposal for us to consider?
Yeah, have a long meeting with Bobby, is what it sounds like.
I think, yeah.
I have a question too. I don't know how it works with all of the other appointments, but I know that one of them that's on there is one that affects our office, so I can speak to that. It's the Property Appeals Board. And like I know with us, they have to go through a training, and we do pick people who have done it in the past, and typically people who have knowledge in that area, somebody who's been an appraiser, somebody who's been in the field, or, worked with this process before. So I'm wondering, when I'm thinking about, and then that's who I would send to you guys for approval, knowing that they are willing to do the job and that they have the qualifications to do the job. So I am wondering if some of these other committees, similar situations happen, where someone does oversee that and then sends you a recommendation.
I would suspect we can just set criteria for application.
Well, that's in the notes, like with the library board, they must meet certain criteria. They have to live within a certain boundary
Yeah.
to sit on that position. And that's why the library board itself advertises within that area and elects.
So we would specify just like a job description. If you don't have these certs, we're not interested.
It's part of their bylaws. So.
So number one, I mean, these are the things that would come up. They'd have to meet the criteria necessary to hold the position. And then from there forward, we'd have consistency in whether you can simply roll over into a new term on the position, or whether you have to reapply and go before a committee to do that.
The library board in particular, they're limited to 2 terms, and then they have to go off. So.
But they
They can reapply one time.
They could reapply one time, yeah.
So we may change this direction to directing staff around establishing the policy rather than
Well,
disagreeing on
I
that.
considered that terminology, Mr. Chair, but I'm loath to overburden county council because
Understandable.
he's here enough hours as it is every day. But I think this is an instance where his involvement would be important, and I would obviously offer myself to be involved with you to help lighten that load and establish this. I'd also like to point out that there are, by virtue of the different tasks assigned to these boards, there are different criteria that need to be applied, and there is a reasonable model by which to think that the process can't all be the same. That's why I said more aligned, not absolutely aligned in the way these processes take place. I do believe that the way that we handled the budget committee appointments was really not the best way we could have done it. And no disparagement to the current sitting members of the budget committee. Is just that I think that is one that is of critical importance to the county and really should have involved not only the interviews, but also it was pointed out that a lot of these committee assignments are not, or opportunities are not really posted on the county website. And so that really needs to be a hard and fast policy that everything that is an available opportunity like that, we're legally obligated to advertise those in newspapers and so forth, but I think that it really is critical that those go on the county website as well. And I think we also should consider postings on, as much as I hate to say it, social media, because this is where a lot of people get the bulk of their information. So really that should be something that's part of this mix.
I think the biggest deficit in that process was advertising. I don't think we had any other applicants, which is probably why there wasn't an interview.
Well, but that's a result of the lack of
so we need to
exposure, right?
focus on advertisement, maybe.
I moved, I'm ready for a motion. Go ahead.
I was going to make a comment. So don't believe we're required to advertise, well, at least the budget committee positions in a newspaper. There's no state law provision on that. I think it's an internal matters for what we're talking about here. What should the local process be of appointing individuals to the budget committee? Another observation I have is that with a lot of these committees, there is a department. Julie made an excellent point.
Right.
That there are committees that work so closely with the department that the department has basically taken on the process of getting those positions filled.
Right.
And so I think it would be a little redundant or unnecessary to have the board involved in the recruitment or interview process for those. Now the budget committee is different because there is no department head overseeing the budget committee. It is you guys that oversee the appointment of those positions. And so I could see you guys having a more prominent role in how we establish and recruit and appoint folks to that committee. So,
So I might suggest a motion specific to the budget committee of requiring interviews for any applicant, even if it's one, because I still want to meet whoever's going to be on the budget committee, and ensuring it is posted both on the website, and maybe we do need to advertise that in the paper, even if it's not required.
I do a press release for every single one of them.
I thought you
Whether
did.
or not it's in the paper is beyond my control. I do
Okay.
know that this was in all three of them.
Nice. Yeah, we'll just keep doing that then.
And it's also posted on the legal board, perhaps.
Yeah. But I can't make a motion. That's just my suggestion.
Well, I think we can form a committee and have them come back with something a little more comprehensive than the piecemeal approach that we're devolving into here. So I would suggest that we direct county council and Bobby, along with help from any of the commissioners that wish to participate, to come up with a policy for board and committee appointments. That's all.
And perhaps you would yeah, I think that's adequate.
They can make all those decisions, all
I
those
can-
recommendations.
I can second that motion.
Motion and a second. Discussion amongst us. We kind of had it. Discussion in the public. Nothing online. Nothing from Brandy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Brandy, you're no longer part of the public.
You are not. You're now a candidate. You're non-publicified. Anyway, we have the consent
I move
calendar.
approval of the consent calendar.
Second?
Motion in a second. Discussion. And discussion online. Discussion.
Actually, I would discuss one thing about the consent calendar,
Uh-huh.
and that is that there, in fact, are some steering committee appointments on here for the Coos Bay Estuary Management Plan. So, in keeping with our previous discussion, I would just point out that in these, on these 1, 2, 3, 4 board appointments, that these fall into the category of a dearth of applicants. And Jill Rolfe has struggled to find qualified appointees. Finally, she has filled them. We've got the people stepped up, and she, as the department head, has pre-qualified these people. So I'm not going to engage any discussion on the merits of the individuals.
Yeah, and they are under strict requirements for different positions within the estuary management plan.
Right.
Certain expertise. So.
Right.
Public interest in this extensive topic. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And that takes us to any late items? I don't think we have late items. And commissioner reports. Want to go for it?
Commissioner Sweet, did you want to?
You want to lead?
I think, well, I'll lead. I think I already talked about the pipeline. That's been perhaps the biggest thing I've been working on the last couple of weeks. Looking here. No, that's all. I mean, I've already talked about it, so.
It was a busy one.
Yeah.
It was a big item you finished there, or we're close to finishing. Rob?
Yeah, so I've already spoken in a past meeting about this, but we now have another step of advancement and progress regarding the O&C lands and the 1937 O&C Act. Specifically, Congress has passed the FY26 Interior Appropriations Bill, and what the bill does with really surprisingly strong bipartisan support is it upholds, I'm reading here now, this action upholds a promise made by the 1937 O&C Act. The AOCC counties are extremely appreciative of the bipartisan leadership in Congress that pushed this historic action across the finish line. The fiscal year 26 Interior Appropriations Bill corrects revisions that were made in 1982 to the O&C Act and returns O&C counties to their rightful 75% of shared timber receipts from the O&C lands. So this will ultimately be reflected, or this will ultimately result in a 50% increase of the current revenue share for O&C counties on an annual basis. So we are going to see an increase in our O&C receipts. That is now codified into law. I want to caution us, though, everyone who's hearing that unfortunately, since this didn't happen last year, we are our ability to budget on this is going to be a little bit questionable, and I'm not sure that this good news comes at a date that will facilitate an easier budget process for us in this upcoming season. We have our first budget preparation meeting next week. And so I don't know, but that is a discussion that we'll be having. And if anybody else has any input on that specific question, that would be welcome. But
I have a question when you have time.
But the news overall is good. I just hope it's soon enough to help us in a timely manner. Commissioner Sweet.
So, in addition to our getting a bigger proportion of the harvest proceeds,
Mm-hmm.
by a 50% increase,
Mm-hmm.
is what about harvest?
Yeah.
That's the other component.
Right.
50% of nothing is still nothing, but we're making progress on harvest levels. I think you ought to mention that.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Indeed, the harvest levels will be increasing as well as a result of President Trump's executive order on increasing timber production on federal lands. The bad news is that the Bureau of Land Management has been running behind what the Forest Service has been doing in terms of executing on that executive order to fulfill its obligation or its directive. But we do have a new Bureau of Land Management state or district manager in Portland who appears to be very much aligned with the principles and directives that have been laid out in that executive order. And so confidence is high that we are going to see probably a 25 to 30% increase in those harvest levels over the next year and beyond. So we could be looking at potentially maybe a 70 or 80% increase in what our O&C revenues have been. Madam Treasurer probably recalls the specific number last year. Was it 1.6? 1.5 million that we got last year from our O&C receipts, somewhere in that range. And so we could conceivably be seeing 2.5 in the coming fiscal year. So that's hopeful. Anyway, that's my good news, and I think that's about all I've got. Oh no, one more thing I want to mention. There is an event coming next week on Thursday night, next Thursday, the 29th, at the Egyptian Theater.
Oh.
And this is an event sponsored by the Friends of Coos County Republicans, and the Turning Point USA group will be joining us, and it will be hopefully a dynamic event to motivate people to get out and get more involved in their community and the things that will direct us to
Time and date again, please.
Wednesday night, Thursday night, the 29th, at the Egyptian, 7 p.m. is the start time. I would recommend getting there early. And don't be intimidated by protesters if they are there. Anything else on that, Brandy? All right, very good. Okay, that's all for me.
Cool. For my part, I already went on about the CFAA, the mental health agreement. We got it down from the 6 years they wanted back to the standard 2, but because the state delayed so long, it's actually only 18 months. They've indemnified us against the lawsuit they're under, and I stopped counting how many times they mentioned subject to availability of funds after 5 times. They didn't include it once in the original. So that was good. I was able to attend the demobilization ceremony for the first 186th that is, I believe, assigned out of the Coos Bay Armory that site's not been in use due to abatement of asbestos and lead, but that is their traditional assignment. Got to meet with the Adjutant General of the National Guard for Oregon, some other folks. They've gotten back from a peacekeeping mission out in the Sinai, enforcing, I believe it was the Egypt-Israel ceasefire. It's kind of like at North Korea, South Korea. They've never actually declared peace. They've just got a ceasefire for the last ever. And I believe that's the position Egypt and Israel are in. And then probably one of the bigger aspects that I've been talking about a little in the background, but not a lot in the big meetings, trying to get data from the Oregon State Police. I finally received that last week. Information on mission set, volume of calls, aids to other departments, and some other general information on how they allocate resources. So background context, Coos County has allocated 14 troopers, 2 sergeants, and 1 captain. To anyone's knowledge that I've spoken to, nobody remembers the last time they had more than 9 troopers. They do have 2 sergeants and 1 captain here. I got information on their call volume. I appreciate Captain Sanborn got me information on our call volume towards the end of last year. So, comparison. We have 8 deputies for patrol.
8 deputies for patrol, yes, Commissioner.
Okay, and we compare that to 9 troopers that are the equivalent of patrol for the state. Oregon State Police had, and they cover Coos County and Western Douglas, so they include Reedsport and I believe Scottsburg. 4,564 calls in 2024. Those were the numbers they had for me, with 9 troopers. We have 8 deputies, and last year, as of December 30th, I believe, so not including New Year's, our deputies had 21,449 calls in Coos County. So more than 4 times the rate of calls or responses with 1 less officer. And I've been talking with some of our legislators in getting this information from OSP because I am hoping to make the case to the state that equivalent to when a county does not meet its obligations, the state steps in and bills us. I want the state to backfill us for the troopers that they are not providing, if not including some of the troopers, because they are not meeting nearly as much as our deputies are producing and meeting the challenge. And to thank y'all for now knowing how much more you're doing than some of your colleagues. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the OSP troopers. I blame this more on structures and leadership. Yep, I'll end it there. Big numbers.
That 21,000 was for a calendar year?
That was last year as of December 30th, so not including calls on New Year's, which is always a peaceful time, as we know.
That is the calendar year, Commissioner.
Oh.
57 calls a day.
And to be clear, I would like to say that that's all the calls. That includes our calls on the dunes, it includes our timber calls. So all deputies combined, not just our patrol, but between patrol and contracts.
And how many total is that?
I got 12.
12?
10.
10.
10 contracts.
Oh. No, I meant off. Oh, okay.
10 contract positions, 8 patrol deputies. We get a call it for our school resource deputy, that number is included.
Okay.
Captain Sanborn, what about calls that originate with the sheriff's office that are then referred to OSP, or we bring OSP in to assist on the call?
OSP noted their mutual aid was only 594 of their calls.
Okay.
Fun numbers. But that's the end of my public comment. I'm sorry.
had something
Yeah.
I wanted to bring out. This is just a question. That's pretty good news, potentially,
Yep.
that we have coming from BLM.
Yeah.
With the ONC receipts. However, no matter how it's increased, there's still going to be different probably different acreages put up for sale each year. And in that, those are normally sold on a 3-year contract, or there will be variation from year to year about the revenues that eventually that flow to the county. And I'm wondering if we ought to start thinking about some way of smoothing that out, similar to the way we do our own forest receipts.
I think
And
that's,
I just, while I remember thinking of it, I wanted to bring it up.
I think that's an idea that has some merit, certainly
Probably not
merits
much,
discussion.
but some.
Well, it's notable though, coming from you.
Well, thank you.
There had been something about 20-year sales instead of 3, hadn't there? Or did that change?
Yeah, so the 20-year sale model will not affect our region because that model was created in order to support areas that have not had, that don't have adequate milling capacity
Okay.
already, so that it would be motivation for investors to go ahead and build mills, knowing that they've got a 20-year contract. We don't have that problem here, so it's non-effective.
I think it was mostly for
But-
the south they did that.
But that's still a law, is it not? Are they simply just not going to put that type of sale up here?
Not gonna
Or could they?
not gonna put up the 20-year contracts in our district,
Good.
no.
Cool. Oh, and
Commissioner, I'd like to point out that there was an article in the World as of January 2nd, where BLM did announce that they had a total revenue of $67 million between Oregon and Washington, and that includes a 15% increase.
I've looked into that, and so far I haven't been able to get anyone in BLM that knows how much of that revenue came from Washington and how much from Oregon.
Weird.
And it's they've touted that number. That number came out of the previous directorship, and let's just say that embellishment of a paltry number and lifting it up as if it were something grand is not unheard of with that administration. But I think we've turned a new leaf, so I wouldn't get too excited about that number. It was pretty small.
cool.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, yay, hammer.
Oh. Do we have any public comment?
No, I asked for public
Oh, you
comment.
did?
Did we
Oh,
have any?
yeah.
The sheet's empty, so you're not getting us today?
Oh.
All righty.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Okay.